may occur in the future as a result of a hazardous blighting which the council were aware of but chose not to clear. In such circumstances, does the portfolio holder agree with me that it would be reasonable for residents to regard the council as partly responsible?
Thank you very much for your question. I'm going to read it out because I want you to have it all, and probably couldn't articulate it any better than it's written here. Roads and alleyways that are unadopted, which is common with many alleyways within the area, are not maintainable at public expense. Public health concerns are evaluated by the public health officers in each circumstance and take appropriate action where they have powers to do so. In the case of unadopted alleyways, the responsibility for maintenance and condition, as well as the liability for any issues, lies with properties that have rights of access to the alleyway. This is often adjacent property owners. Specific responsibilities will be found in property owners' deeds. In order to undertake clearance of rubbish, residents can make use of local authorised waste disposal companies. An option could be considered by residents of properties that adjoin unadopted alleyways in alligating. Each property owner living adjacent to the alleyway will have specific rights of access as specified within their deeds. This is a civil matter, and residents of the alleyway would need to communicate in order to determine the problem and decide to what extent they are willing to restrict access to their properties. They would also need to decide how to fund the cost of the gate, as well as the cost of any clearance. The council is currently in the process of reviewing its approach to unadopted alleyways and is considering options including enforced clearance by those parties responsible for upkeep of the land, or alternatively exploring compulsory alligating orders. These matters are scheduled to be considered as part of the revision of the Council's environmental enforcement strategy, which will be taken through CGS ahead of Cabinet in the summer.
Councillor Spillman, do you wish to pose a supplementary question?
Yes, the last bit is what I'm interested in really. Since I've had about 4 or 5 of these cases in the last week, it's a horrendous problem. I'm not going to pretend it's easy to deal with. It's really expensive. It's pain. You know, we all hate it. But the things you're talking about will already start to happen and there's a little bit of inconsistency. All the houses are between Dell Road and Alsip Road. There's a fly tip behind there in an alleyway, and they've received a letter from the council saying that within 2 weeks they have to get that cleared, otherwise the council are going to go in and they're going to charge a sum about £2,300, and about 20 houses have been sent a bill for that broken down. Now, I don't like to treat residents like that. I think we should be working with them a bit better than that, not just sending them a letter that says, sort this out in 2 weeks, this is how much it costs, if you don't do that we're going to take civil action. I just hope we get a bit more of a bit of a warmer and more more reasonable dialogue with our residents, because this is a problem that they've not been charged for before. The idea of getting 20 people together, a lot of them are HMOs in that area as well. They don't know who the owners are. Can we just make sure that the approach is a little bit softer in the future?
It's a difficult situation. It may be, unfortunately, that those people that reside in those properties, they're not even responsible for that blighting. It may be somebody else has gone in there, but we don't know that. And as regards a softer approach, I don't agree, because we want a strong approach, really. I haven't seen a copy of the letter. We want a strong approach because we don't want it in Thurrock. If people want to drive through Thurrock and fly to New Basildon, that's not in Thurrock. So I'm not interested in that. But, time and time again, you report these blightings, and I've been somebody that has said, scavenger tactics, why aren't we using that? Because for all the residents in our borough that do the right thing, they put the right thing in the green bin, the right thing in the blue bin, they recycle and do food waste, they go to the civic amenity site, they put the bulky waste collections. And then you've got, every time there's a new tenant in a property, the mattress is flung out. Sometimes it's on the public highway, on the path. And we have to fund that. So I'll have a look at the letter, I'll see how it's worded, but I don't want a softly approach. You know, if it's in that back anyway and they're responsible, the council will not be paying to clear it.
Councillor Spillman, do you wish to ask a second supplementary?
Again, it's not in terms of how tough the enforcement. It's just like working with communities to get them working together to build those links so that they can they've got the resources to act as a unit rather than just getting a letter. The other query is that the charge. Now I went to see the fly tip. I actually reported it. It also appeared in Thurrock Gazette. Now you sent a bill to them, well not you. The department sent a bill to them for $2,300. Now, a colleague of mine got that job priced up privately. It's quoted between £250 and £400.
I
Now,
hope you asked to see the waste carriers.
I just make sure that
Yes, he did.
these were registered, registered carriers, yeah. Like, can we just make sure that residents are not getting overcharged? Because it seems I've seen it here. It's not pleasant, but to charge over £2,000 for the goods that are there, it just seems ludicrous to me. It's no wonder that residents get annoyed when they're getting bills like that. Just look into that for me. I'd be really pleased if you did.
I think in terms of where we are now, where people used to settle in Thurrock, they knew their neighbours, things have changed. They may be renting, they may be tenants, where somebody would say to their neighbour, for God's sake, don't leave all that rubbish there, it's unsightly. People don't maybe know their neighbours now. Bad behaviour isn't checked. Residents don't know their neighbours, they're not saying, come on, let's do the right thing. I've said about the housing booklet, let's make sure people know about the recycling and bin collections and make sure they know about the bulky waste collection, £30 for 3 items. But, for all the people that do the right things in this borough, which is what we're not going to take that fly tipping away for nothing. And you'll say it's an overvalued price. We'll have a look at it, but clearly someone's got to clear it up and there's going to be a charge.